SAAHIL is going to explain to us what, from Collier's perspective, what is happening in the Middle East and North Africa region. SAAHIL, can we hear from you, please?
No, I'm okay with this one. It's fine. Good afternoon, everyone. Just for the post-lunch session, it's always good to bombard the audience with statistics and numbers. I wish I didn't have the introduction that I had. Unfortunately, sometimes as consultants, we have to give our unbiased opinion on what the market is looking like. In terms of KPIs, it's not as good as last year. We'll talk about the various markets once I reach to our monthly forecast. That is something that I want to speak about as well. But just to start with, just to begin the presentation, can I have the slides? No problem. Well, just to give you an introduction of Colliers. Basically, Colliers has been in the region for about 20 years now. We are real estate consultants, real estate advisors, and we pretty much cover the entire spectrum of real estate advisory services, be it any asset class from residential, commercial, retail, hospitality. And within these, we have various kinds of services ranging from valuations to advisories. We do operator search selections, leasing. So we got different teams. We have offices in Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Doha, Riyadh, Jeddah, Cairo. So from these offices, we are covering the Middle East and North Africa market. And the hospitality team sits out of Dubai, which is what we call the Center of Excellence. And we cover the entire Middle East and North Africa and East Africa and Indian Ocean markets. That's me? All right, finally. Okay, thank you. And this works, right? All right, so just talking a bit more about the Colliers Hotels team. We are a set of 21 hospitality professionals, all with hotelier background. We've all worked in hotels before, so very well versed with hotel operations. Last year has been a great year for us. We did over 163 feasibilities and highest and best use studies. We did valuations for hotels totaling up to a total of $13 billion US. On the operator search selection side, we reviewed over 100 LOIs, which are letter of interest, by different operators from your Starwoods, your Marriotts, Millennium, Rotana, all the likes, regional and international. And we signed 10 deals. So we signed 10 operators on behalf of our owners. We also have what we call as the hotel asset management team within our hospitality team, which is a set of individuals who come with a very strong operational background. So they are revenue managers, F&B managers, ex-GMs, who sit with the hotel teams and work on behalf of the owners to optimize the profitability. Obviously, in these challenging times, getting your P&L right, whether it be F&B, housekeeping, overall hotel operations is very important. And these guys work on behalf of the owners to make sure that the hotel bottom lines are improved. And obviously, we've had an excellent run. We've seen some very innovative ideas in terms of hotel development. We've seen there are some strong gaps emerging. We've seen there are some new demand segments that are coming up. And I'll talk a bit more about that just to tell you where we see the tourism and hospitality market of the GCC going towards. So just to give you a quick overview of what tourism drivers do we have in each of these destinations. Obviously, as most of you know, destinations such as Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Doha, with their flagship carriers, they're more of hubs in the region. We have places like Makkah and Medina, which are more of religious poles, And we have other destinations like Muscat, for example, which are more on the national capitals with some culture, heritage, and environmental anchors, if I may say. So altogether, the tourist forecast looks very positive, looks very healthy for the region. As you can see, there are some markets which are stronger than the others, which are looking in excess of 25 million visitors by 2020. And obviously, in case of Doha, the big year will be 2022. Obviously, a couple of years heading up to the tournament itself should also be interesting for Doha in terms of all the project work that will be going on that time and all the events leading up to the World Cup itself. So in terms of the tourism forecast, tourism arrivals, there are some very strong fundamentals that GCC has, both in terms of touristic infrastructure and vehicles to attract tourism, both domestic and international. And obviously, for some of the regions, some of the cities within Middle East, like Dubai, Doha, Muscat, it's very important to capture the regional demand as much as the international demand. Because you have a huge market in Saudi Arabia, for example, with over 30 million people who need destinations to travel with their families or for business. Moving ahead, who are the people who are visiting or occupying these hotels and service apartments, which is something very interesting because this is a question that we get asked often when we're working on hotel projects in cities. And as you will see, obviously it differs a lot, and there are some destinations such as Kuwait, Doha, Riyadh that thrive on corporate tourism, corporate and MICE, people like you and me. Obviously, we are filling up the hotel nights in these destinations, whereas there are other destinations such as Dubai where a huge piece of the pie is being taken up by leisure tourists, which is a very healthy sign for these markets because your leisure tourists will give you a higher rate, will help you balance the effect of seasonality, and will also spend on other departments, your restaurants, your water sports and things like that. So it's a very positive sign, and the more leisure tourists you can get, the better you are. Obviously, the perfect scenario would be to have a good mix of all three, which is corporate as well as leisure, together with some, VFR. But obviously, as of now, we see this polarization, if you may, that one destination is strong compared to the other in corporate. Obviously, for destinations like Doha, there is a big push now to increase the share of leisure tourism. There is a big push now to put in projects and anchors which will attract leisure tourism, both regional and international. We've been associated as Colliers with these kind of projects as well. Leisure and entertainment for families, destinations in the SAAHIL, and hopefully we can see them come to fruition very soon, which will encourage leisure demand. If you talk about service departments, which is an asset class that we would have loved to see being built at a more aggressive pace, but we haven't seen so far. Service departments, we do the segmentation based on the length of stay. And it's surprising, very surprising, that most of the destinations within GCC are short stays for service apartments, which is very unlike this product, because usually you would expect service apartments with kitchenettes, people here would come in for a few months or maybe a year because they just don't want to rent a place, a pure residential product. But due to the regional tourism, due to domestic tourism, due to the size of the families, many GCC families prefer service apartments over hotels. And this is the reason that you see this big share of less than 1 month stay across so many destinations. And it's very interesting because if service apartments are able to, get this demand from short staying guests, they're able to hold on to a rate. Obviously, if you're going to take a room for 6 months, you're going to ask or expect a healthy discount. And the revenue manager sitting in the reception will obviously think twice before saying no, because he has his room occupied for 6 months. So in terms of yield management, the more short stays you have, the more you can hold on to a strong rate. And from a return on investment point of view, the better it is for an investor to develop a service department product. The question is, if you have such a good short stay share, why aren't there so many service departments being built? And the answer is simple. The answer is the square meters that they consume at the moment and the specification to which they are being built doesn't make sense for an investor. In most cases, what they would say is, SAAHIL, instead of building a 1-bedroom apartment, I might get 3 standard rooms if I build a hotel. So why don't I do that? Because for every square meter increase in a hotel room to a service apartment, the incremental increase in the average daily rate is not the same. So your one-bedroom apartment might be going at 800 riyals, but your standard room will still go at 600, for example. So you don't get that incremental increase, and therefore, it's a deterrent at the moment. Possible solutions to it, obviously, you got to sort of hold on the specs. You got to go easy. What has happened is over the years there have been many dual products that have opened. There have been many 5-star hotels together with a service department component that have opened. So the developer, while developing this entire asset, has pretty much kept the same specs. And that's the reason why you see so many service department builds very high specifications. And to be able to match up to that, sort of, the bar is set so high that to be able to match up to that, the developer feels pressure. But according to us, you need not. And as you see more and more, especially with the corporate destinations, you will see more and more demand for reasonable, affordable service apartments. And this is where we see there is a huge development opportunity as well. Obviously, if you look at it from Doha's perspective, the bar looks completely different. There are a lot of long stays here, and this is again mainly driven by corporate long stays. These are people who are, single occupants without families, on an assignment, on a project, who are filling up these service apartment room nights. Talking of forthcoming supply, destinations like Kuwait, Doha, you need your 3-star product. You need your IBIS. You need your Premier Inn. Just to be able to go there for a meeting, you just sleep and you take the flight next day. So those products are missing, and there is immense opportunity. Again, some deterrents that we see. Why don't we see such products coming in at the pace that they should be? One of them is land cost, for example. If you need to be in the prime district at the moment, sometimes your land cost prevents you from building a product which is positioned mid-market or economy. To be able to make sense out of your numbers, you want to go for the big product positioned on the 4-star or maybe 5-star rate. Having said that, obviously, as advisors, we've always told our clients that there is a huge opportunity in mid-market hotels together with service apartments, and obviously to do some innovative products later if needed. Moving further, to just cross demand and supply and talk about performance. So this graph over here shows you the size of the bubble is the size of the market in terms of number of keys. And you have on X and Y axis, you have the hotel occupancies and ADRs. So as you can see, there are basically two groups. One operating more on the $150 and one on the $230, I would say, more or less. And obviously, in terms of size, you see Dubai definitely is one of the biggest markets. You're talking about more than 100,000 keys at the moment, including service apartments. Jeddah is one of the strongest markets. Jeddah is the gateway to the holy cities, and obviously it gets a lot of transient demand. In terms of supply, there hasn't been that much new supply that has come into the Jeddah market. It's been very slow. So as a result, the hotels that are there have been able to, consolidate their position, maintain their rates, which is not the same with other markets like Dubai or Abu Dhabi. These markets have seen a huge influx of big monster hotels, 1,000 keys, 1,500 keys, and they have put a lot of pressure on KPIs, on occupancy and ADRs. And this combined with the oil prices and things like that, Russia, which is a key source market for many of the destinations within GCC, because of the sun and sand sea tourism, you have a combined effect of new supply, deteriorating economy, and deteriorating economy in the source markets. As a combined effect, what has happened is this. This is a snapshot of what we call the COLLIERS monthly forecast. So obviously it's very easy to state what has happened, but we at COLLIERS also try to predict what is going to happen. We publish this every month. This is a monthly forecast on hotel KPIs. We cover 29 markets and sub-markets, and we tell you what we think is going to happen in the next 3 months and the year. So these are 3 months rolling forecast and year end. And I often tell my colleagues whenever they prepare this and we want to discuss it, I tell them, show it to me from a distance. If it looks like a mojito, we are fine. If it looks like a pina colada, we might have an issue. If it looks like a Bloody Mary, then we have a serious issue. And at the moment, it looks like a Bloody Mary. with some celery as garnish, if I can. But yeah. So at the moment, obviously, most of the markets we've seen decline. Yeah, most of the markets we've seen that the performance has gone down compared to last year. So you have year-to-date numbers and you have the full year forecast. And in most cases, it is on the decline. Like I said, this doesn't mean that, you know, as a trend or as the future of GCC, we see this, you know, it's all going down the barrel. But it's more a combined effect of what I said. This is lots of supply coming into many markets. This is the combined effect of oil prices and also some of the key source market economies which are going down. But having said that, obviously you have the opportunity then to tap into new source markets. You have some very big and strong markets in Asia where there is a huge demographic and there is a great opportunity to tap onto them, be it transient tourism, be it business tourism, or to be able to capture them from a leisure and entertainment point of view. If I give you the example of Dubai, well, something that Dubai is trying to do is trying to tap into leisure and entertainment with theme parks. So they recently launched the IMG indoor theme park last month, and in 3 months' time they're going to launch the Dubai Parks and Resorts, which is going to be a set of 3 theme parks. It's going to be Legoland, Motion Gate, and Bollywood. Funny enough, the Bollywood park came in Dubai first and India, but they're launching them and they're expecting 5 million visitors in the first year. So those kind of anchors can be potential game changers, not just for Dubai, but for the region, because it puts an impression in the mind of the traveler from countries like China, India, that, you know, you have somewhere within 3 hours of flying time, 4 hours of flying time, which has something good to offer, and it's great for hotels as well. So just moving on. By the way, this monthly forecast is in the public domain. You can find it on our website, or I'll hand it over to Sri Lakshmi as well. If you give us your business card, we'll just include you in our mailing list, and every month you'll receive this monthly forecast. And hopefully it will start looking like a mojito very soon. In terms of new hotel concepts, obviously we worked on several new projects, some of them ranging from desert resorts with solar panels, and I'm sure the colleagues who will be following this presentation after me will talk about energy management systems and you know, how they can come up with innovative ideas on making hotel investment better and hotel operations better. Other products that we've been working on are motels. This is very prevalent in Saudi at the moment as a concept. People want to try this because there are long driving distances. Probably a motel between Saudi and Doha would also be a nice idea because a lot of people drive down to Doha. You have istirahas, which are like, it's a very popular activity here in the region to drive around to the sand dunes nearby and, you know, campsites and things like that. So istirahas is a concept very popular again in Saudi, but we see it can be applied anywhere in the region where you have a bit of desert to be able to offer resort experience outside of the city, but still within driving distance. So these are some of the new concepts that we've worked on recently, both in terms of feasibility and concept generation. That's what we've done for our clients. And obviously, it's always a challenge to get the right balance of an innovative product versus return on investment. But that's something which needs to be addressed not just from an investment point of view, but also from an operational point of view. Because, like I said, one thing is to build it right, another is to build it cheap, but there is a totally different ball game on how to run it right. And that's where things like asset management come in. So the key risks that we see, besides the development opportunities that I just mentioned, which lie in innovative products like motels and leisure resorts, the key challenges obviously are return on investments, operating costs, delay in construction. These are the things that we see at this moment in time in most developers and investors. This is what they face. And according to us, the solution lies in, first of all, going after innovative products. Or let me say, okay, step 0 is, okay, get over the obsession with 5-star resorts and iconic and luxury. That's been done. There are lots of good projects in the way. Some of them will still continue to happen because we have developers and investors that are more legacy developers, so they will always do the loud launch. But then the market really needs service departments, the market really needs mid-market hotels, the market needs budget hotels. So according to us, you need to address that gap, And obviously, you need to do innovative products. You need to do products such as motels. You need to do products such as innovative desert resorts, istirahas. This will, just further add to the hospitality offering in the region as against the typical boxed-up product of a 5-star hotel or a 4-star hotel. Obviously, there are things which you can do within construction. So one of the speakers to follow will speak about 3D printing. Another one will speak about modular construction. All these topics, these are the new things that are being discussed in the markets today. Some clients have discussed modular construction with us as well, and obviously the impact that we see is that the construction time frame goes down by half, if not more. And obviously, in terms of cash flows, that creates a big impact because they start realizing the cash from the asset much quicker. Obviously, how practical is it and how beneficial is it cost-wise and durability-wise? How long does it last? These are questions that probably Faisal or Nicholas can answer better than me, who are to follow. And then, of course, you have other things on the operational side of hotels, on energy management, on things such as controlling your utility bills, which again, for us, we see this more in the asset management, but obviously from the technical side of it, you have so many things in hotels these days, right from the glass that you're using to the lighting that you're using to the temperature control techniques that you're using, all of this with a direct impact on your P&L and all of this with a direct impact on your return on investment. So I leave the stage to these gentlemen to come and explain to you on the rest. If there are any questions, I'm happy to answer them. Thank you.